So the other day, not only did we permanently unlock every single Blox fruit in the game, we also leveled up and maxed out the abilities for every single one. So we've got every ability pretty much unlocked except for Awakened, okay? So today we're going to be showcasing every single one of these fruits, and I'm going to give you like my opinion on that particular fruit. Now, I'm not going to be doing a tier list on this quite yet because I still need a little bit more time for these. I will be doing a separate video on awakening every single fruit. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of fragments to awaken every single fruit, but it won't be too bad. Before I begin, if you do solid, hit that like button and subscribe because this takes me forever to make. All right, so we're going to be starting with the very first fruit. Like, see, let me go and equip it here. I'm not going to go inside observation, by the way, because observation is really, it makes it really hard to see them. Kilo is not a good fruit, but most beginners are going to get it because it's so cheap. It's 5,000. It's really cheap to get. So a lot of newbies get it. So we're going to hold down Z. And you can see 2,086 damage. It has like a nice knockback to it too. Similarly, this is the 20,000 kg here. And you can see it does a lot more damage. It seems like it doesn't. Does it do the same amount of knockback? I think it does more damage, but less knockback. Yeah, it seems to be like a higher like push up in the air. Yeah, see this one knocks it back further. So 10,000 does a little bit further. And this one just kind of kicks it up in the air. Let's try out 50,000 kg. So we're going to hold down C. I think it did with 2,300 damage, and it also seems like it didn't do any knockback though for that. So 20,000 is 2533, right? We'll try the 50,000. Yeah, it doesn't seem as good. It doesn't even give them that much knockback. Now let's try Lighten. This just basically sends us around. It doesn't really have the ability for us to like move much. Seems like it has a little bit of movement, like a tiny bit, but we're basically like flying around with an umbrella. Now you got to remember, this is like one of the cheapest fruits, so you can't expect it to be powerful. So the next one I'm going to show you is Spin. This is like the second newbie friendly one because it's only 7,500 to get. First one's going to be Razor Wind. Then we got Tornado Assault, Spinning Bomber, and then we have Helicopter Flight. And Helicopter Flight's pretty obvious, you know. There we go. It's pretty cool, actually. You gotta admit, that's pretty funny. Like, look at my hands. Dude, my hands are like twirling in circles. Even the sound effect is hilarious. It's so cartoony, dude. All right, let's try Razor Wind. So this is the first just level 1 mastery here. And 2,300, so not too bad. Let's try it again real quick. I'll show you. You can see the range on that. Not too bad. Not too bad. So it's a lot better than Kilo. Like, Kilo is just one big explosion, and then they kind of get close to you again. And this one has a pretty fast cooldown considering. Once it's done, it's pretty fast. Not too bad. Pretty low damage though. Next, we're going to try out Tornado Assault. So let's go ahead and hit that X. Okay, so I think you can control it. Let's try that again. Yeah, so you can pretty much move your mouse around and guide the tornado. All right, so next we're going to try Spinning Bomber. And that did 3,200 damage. Not bad, not bad. Decent cooldown. It's kind of long. So in between these, you know, you can pretty much finish these guys pretty fast. Oh, it looks like it like kind of has like a nice range on it too. Let's try it again. Oh man, that range is actually pretty good. All right, let's check the next fruit. All right, the next one we're going to try is Chop. This one has Tackle, Dance, Party, and Helicopter. So very similar to the other one. It's basically the same. It's identical. It's literally identical, just a different animation. I mean, most of the mobility ones are like this. This one feels slower because the sound effect is like not as fast as the last one, but it's the same speed, I think. So we have Tackle, which we're gonna try. So Tackle has like no range whatsoever. Let's try that again. Pretty fast cooldown though. So that's 20, it's only 2,000. That's pretty bad. But the fast cooldown should make up for it a little bit. And they got Dance. And Dance is kind of like Tornado again. It's basically the same thing, isn't it? Let's check the damage too. Well, 3,200, I think it does a little bit more. All right, so the next one we're going to try is Party. And, oh, wow. Oh, wow, that thing did 3,700 damage. This guy. Oh, dude. It just did 5,300. It just did 5,300 damage. Party is actually pretty OP. Wow. That's actually pretty massive. Party move is actually pretty impressive. All right, next up, we're going to be trying out Spring. Wasn't a big fan of this one. It does have 5 different like abilities. It has Knock, Spring Snipe, Spring Cannon, Spring Emperor, and then we got Spring Leap. First one's going to be Knock. Okay, it's 2,200. Damage not so great. Okay, let's go ahead and try Spring Snipe because it does say Snipe. So let's try it kind of from a, you know, kind of far. Oh yeah, it kind of hit it. So yeah, it's kind of like a medium range attack. Let's try that again. Okay, 2,600. All right, we got Spring Cannon next. I'm going to go try this on a new NPC that's fresh. So Spring Cannon is a Mastery 50. Let's try this out. Okay, 3,300. It kind of just launches up in the air. 3,300. It's okay. It's not bad. So next up, we got Spring Emperor Mastery 125. Let's try that out. Oh, geez, that's kind of chaotic. Spring Leap's just going to be obviously a jump. I don't really like it because it doesn't really, there's not really much of a purpose other than like, I mean, it's such a long cooldown as well. Not impressed with that one. And let's see, does the Spring Leap actually do damage? I don't think it will. Okay, so you can actually, Spring Leap's kind of interesting in that you can, if you like hit objects, you can bounce off of them. Let's try that again. So if I go like this, yeah, like, and then it ends. That's kind of weird. I don't really like this fruit. Next up, we got Bomb. So let's go ahead and get this one. Everyone loves Bomb. This is like the meme fruits in the game. Everyone's joking like, DV, the best fruit of the game is Bomb. Let me show you Bomb. You can see we got like 5 different abilities here. We got Targeted Bomb, Bomb Grab, Landmines, and similar thing. We got F key for Explosive Jump, and then we got Self-Destruct. Let's go and try Targeted Bomb. So this is Targeted Bomb. You can see it's kind of growing. You got to charge it up, and then it kind of gets big, and then once it stops, you can pretty much launch it. And that's 4270. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Meme worthy, but dude, it's so cool. Look at like the crater that it gives too. The crater's pretty cool. All right, next is going to be Bomb Grab. And there we go. Bomb Grab. So weird. There. So yeah, just you basically kind of teleport to them. Now, next we do have Landmines. So you grow it and then you let go. So pretty much it just like randomly places like landmines everywhere. And if they walk over them, it blows them up. It's pretty cool. And it's got a decent cooldown, so you can just kind of run around. And then you can put them again. So it could do like massive damage over time. It's pretty impressive, to be honest. How much damage just one attack's doing still. So you get like a cluster of like enemies. It's not bad. Next up, we got Self-Destruct. So let me go over here. We'll Self-Destruct on this guy. So you can see we're just kind of charging up. You can see my health is going down at the same time. And I've just charged up. Like I lost a lot of health on that, right? And it's not regenerating. Now, if I let go, boom. And then boom. Dude, they all got launched. And then next we got Explosive Jump. This one's kind of like, I think, a mobility one. So it's not quite as mobile as some of the others that we've seen, like the helicopter and such, but still pretty good. Like you can even do like smaller clusters of your landmines. That's pretty cool. Do a half charge there. So yeah, it's actually not bad. Even though it's kind of memey, this fruit is actually pretty decent, I have to say. I know we joke about it, but it's actually pretty decent. It's just the unfortunate is you don't really have anything very good for mobility. Like Explosive Jump is not that good. All right, next up we have Smoke. And this one does have Smoke Slam, Smoke Blast, Smoke Liberation, and Smoke Bomber. Smoking's bad for you, okay? All right, here's Smoke Slam. I'm doing this kind of mid-range. This kind of reminds me of like Magma. Let's get up a little closer to him. That does 2,500 damage. Pretty fast cooldown. It's not too bad. I don't really like it, though. Next up, we got Smoke Blast. And boom. Whoa. That was a lot of damage. That was 5,000 damage. Let's try that again. It's pretty impressive. Anytime you're going over like 4,000, 5,000 damage, I'm pretty happy. Let's try that again from this range. Ooh, look at that. Not bad, to be honest. Smoke Blast, not bad. Now let's try Smoke Liberation. Yeah, it's all right. Now let's try Smoke Bomber. So this is kind of interesting. It's kind of like mobile. So this is where like Magma does really well. Even Venom, in that you can hold the ability longer. I like a couple of the moves on here. It's just kind of maybe low, mid-tier type of fruit. So it's not as good as some of the others, obviously. Next, we're going to try out Spike. So Spike has Spike Summon, Whirlwind, Spiky Ball, and Spike Barrage. So here is Spike Summon. And you can see it's kind of like wide area. Like it grows the area. And then you let go, and it just does this like giant attack across everything. Now that was 2 hits, by the way. Those 2 NPCs hit, so it doesn't do exactly like 5,300 on one character. So I'll show that again. So we're gonna grow it. I'll wait for these guys. Nah, I won't. I'll just do that one. So it's only 3,800 on that one, and I think it depends on like if the spikes actually hit the enemy. Now let's try Whirlwind. Whirlwind basically doesn't let you charge up. Now, by the way, some of these abilities have 2 different modes. I'm only going to be showing you the charge up modes, but some of these actually have like multiple modes, okay? So like some have hold down and some have like a quick release. And basically it means is like there's 2 different moves for that same ability, depending on if you hold or not. Not all of them have that. We're just going to be doing the ones that hold down though. All right, there's our Whirlwind. Dude, that's not bad. 3,800 is not bad. Now here's spiky ball. So this one you can charge. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of like dough. Do a little spike summon for these guys. All right, now it's spike barrage. Let's try this out. So I'm holding down, and oh, that's so cool. I like the lineup on this. This one reminds me of the tower one for barrier. Dude, 9,600. That's pretty cool. It's a nice AoE attack, but I like that it's just basically a whole line. It's not amazing, but I like it. Now there's no mobility ability. No movement ability on this one. I mean, except for spiky ball, but even then you can't really count. You can't count that one. All right, next up we get into flame. Flame is one of the elementals, which is pretty cool because you get that Logia. And we got fire bullets, we got burning blast, we got fire column, flame destroyer, and fire flight. Now fire flight's pretty cool because you just move your pointer around or your camera, and like that you can kind of fly around, and it doesn't really expire, which is really nice. So you can just keep this going. You can fly, you know, across the map with this, which is really helpful for mobility. Like if you don't want to have to use a boat, it's just so easy to get up to, you know, places too. So pretty much any fruit that I play, by the way, it's got to have something like this. I really love mobility, unless I'm using door. All right, starting with fire bullets. Let's try this out. 3,500 for your first ability. That's not bad. It's basically 3,600. That's a lot of damage. It's got a really nice fast cooldown, so you can charge it up again. Downside, it doesn't have any knockback really. Next up with burning blast on this guy. Ooh, that's kind of a cool one. So you can pretty much do this one, and then, you know, maybe follow up with like a blast or something. 2,500. It's not great, but it does knock them up. So like if you're getting like charged by a bunch of NPCs, maybe you want to get them out of your way or stop them from like chasing you down, especially bosses. Now let's try fire column. Okay, it basically just does like a big explosion. So let's try that again, but we got to get close to an enemy. I mean, it's only 3,500 too. There's got to be better abilities than that, and we know there are. Now next up is flame destroyer. This one's a mastery 100. So here's flame destroyer. You basically hold the ball, and you pretty much destroy anything in that area. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to let it go. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. Next up, we have Bird Falcon. This one's kind of weird. Wasn't really a fan of this one. So we got Plumage, Windburst, we got Bone Crusher, and we got Flight and Soaring Talon. So Plumage basically gives you wings, so you can toggle between those modes. And some of these require you to be in this mode to be even, you know, able to even use them. So like Windburst, for example. So you got to make sure you actually like change into the Falcon. And then you can actually have Flight at this point too. So you can't have Flight without this. But you see, Flight basically gives you the ability to fly with wings. If you always wanted to be a bird, you can be a bird. I mean, Falcon. You could be a Falcon. All right, so Windburst, basically you're going to use your wings. So I'll show you what this looks like. So you hold down, and there it goes. It's 2,400. And then you can like fly away. It's like, oops, I didn't mean to make you mad. And then you could do it again. And then Bone Crusher is a bit different. Let me show you Bone Crusher. This is Bone Crusher. And it's kind of weak. It's like 2,800. And then you got Soaring Talon. And you basically like charge through them. It's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, most of these abilities are pretty fast. I'm not really into any of these. There's that one. And then you can do that. But yeah, it's not that good, okay? I'm not a fan of this one. Make sure, by the way, when you switch over to another fruit, you toggle off. All right, next we're going to try Ice. Now, this one is pretty powerful. What I'm told is this is a really good one for PvP. I don't personally know any of the combos. A lot of people know the combos. I'm still learning the combos. But I'm hearing this one, you can actually combo pretty well with. So we got Ice Spears, Ice Surge, Ice Bird, and then we got Glacial Epoch. So let's go ahead and try Ice Spears. So we got this charged up, and 3,100. It's not bad. Not bad for Mastery Level 1. Ability, also, again, these are I'm only Mastery 100 on this one. I'm not maxed out, so you can do a lot more damage later. I also don't have this Awakened. These are non-Awakened. I'm not going to be showing any of the Awakened fruits today, so like you have to awaken them later. So I'm going to do a separate showcase for all the Awakened. But let's go and do Ice Surge. That's pretty cool. Now, some of these will actually also stun you, which is pretty impressive for PvP. I'm not really showing PvP in this video, but for a PvE, it's not bad. And here's Icebird. And I don't really know why that's called Icebird. It's basically, is it like throwing a bird? Let's zoom out this time and try that again. So Icebird, and there it goes. Oh yeah, it's like a bird. Yeah, it does like a bird animation. That's cool. Now, let's try Glacial Epoch. Here's a glacial one. Entire area like freezes. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, ice is pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to mention, you also have this ice trident, which is pretty cool. You can use that as well as your weapon. Nice thing about this is it doesn't use sword. It uses Blox fruit damage. You don't need actually any kind of like melee weapons for this. You can just run up to someone and there you go. Oh, by the way, all the elementals have Logia. So depending on your level and such, like I'm 2400, as long as the mob does not have hockey, you can pretty much avoid their attacks. This is Logia. So you can see he can't damage me. So if you have an elemental, you're not going to get any damage. It's just got to be like a certain level range, or as long as they don't have hockey. Like some of the like high level quest mobs will have hockey on them. So if you're like trying to take out captains and such, they'll usually have hockey. All right, next up with another elemental. This is going to be sand, and we got a desert sword, we got desert funeral, sand tornado, heavy sand, and we got sand flight. So this is sand flight. It's kind of weird. Very slow movement too. I don't really like that it kind of goes up and down as well. Feels weird. Let's go and try desert sword first with the Z. It should be pretty long range. Fast cooldown, but it still doesn't make up for the lack of damage. Now we got desert funeral, and that's kind of cool. Basically like holds them up in the air for a minute. So potential combos there. And then you got sand tornado. It's kind of cool. And then you got heavy sand, which does a big explosion. This is probably like the biggest damager out of the entire Blox fruit here. Still not that great. Like anything over like 4,000, I start considering like really good. All right, we got dark. Now this one's not too bad. This one's cool. If I were to choose between dark and shadow, I'd go with shadow for sure. You'll see in a little bit. But here is dark rocks. Now I didn't really like this one. Kind of weak on damage. Takes kind of a long cooldown as well. And then you got black spiral, which I thought was kind of cool. I like that. And then you've got black hole, which kind of freezes you as well a little bit. Like it kind of makes you so you can't actually move. So like you do this, you can't move around until it's kind of already executed. Now here's dark bomb. This one's kind of cool. That one's kind of like the flame one. Now next up we have revive. This one looks cool. This one was a little wonky. I wasn't really a fan of this one, but I'm going to show you the abilities. So first up we got possession. It kind of launches. You got to be in the correct range. And you basically do damage. You do 3,000 damage right through them. And then it's a long cooldown. Like it takes quite a while for it to cool down again. And then here's Soul Ruler. And it's a cool, like a really cool looking ability. But slow cooldown, you have to be on them. Soul Ruler, you have to be on them like this. Then it does 3,900 damage. It's pretty good. And then you have Resurrection here, which is 110 mastery. So with this one, next time you die, you're going to be revived at 50% health. About to die to an NPC. And you can see, like, I'm back. This is what I look like. I'm a skeleton. Total skeleton. It's so funny. I guess it's kind of cool, like, if you're, like, really worried about dying. But why would you use this over something that gives you more damage? I don't know. And then you got Wandering Soul, which is basically mobility. So you can kind of, fly around. And you can only do it for a certain amount of time, too. It's kind of got time, so not as good as light again. I mean, it looks cool, but, like, it's so temporary, which is unfortunate. So yeah, this one's kind of weak. I'm not really a fan of this one. I guess it's cool to mess around with, but it has so many more weaknesses than advantages. So diamond's kind of weird, okay? So diamond, you actually have to encrust yourself into like this whole diamond form. Oh man, that's kind of cool. Like the skeleton, diamond skeleton's actually pretty cool because I'm still resurrected, but that's fine. So here's beaming tackle. So you can see I'm charging up and you go across. It's kind of weak. It doesn't even feel like it's a good ability. Then you got diamond hell. Does a lot of damage though. 4,200 is not too shabby. And then finally we got solar flare. I'll show you that real quick. And that did 6,000 damage because I hit this guy. Yeah, so diamond I'd probably avoid personally. Next up is light. Like I said, one of my favorites. Definitely a cool Blox fruit. One thing I really love is the light flight. Look how fast it is too. Now, the downside of the, you get the speed in exchange for lack of control, okay? You'll see I have this, but I can't steer it. So if you want to change direction, you kind of have to, like, start over. You have to wait for the cooldown, and you got to start over. So you kind of exchange, moverability with speed. But this one's, like, the best for, like, if you're, like, trying to travel across, like, different islands, like, especially, like, first and second sea. This thing helps so much. Next, we got light ray. This one's pretty cool. But before I get into that, look at, we got a sword. We got a light sword. So this is really helpful. Like when you're trying to like farm, especially with your Logia hits in, like you're not taking damage, you're not getting knocked back. That's going to help a ton. But what I like about this fruit is that you can combo a lot. So you got your light ray like this, you charge up, you let go, It kind of knocks them back. Then you can pop this up and start like raining a barrage of light on them. Then you can also do the reflection kick, which basically knocks them up in the air. It's a nice like knockback. Like this fruit has so many knockback abilities that typically speaking, you don't really let them get close to you. So like here's the ray of light again. It's gonna knock them back, and then I'm gonna go up in the air, do that. You know, I can do my kick, knock them up in the air again. Gotta be one of my favorites right here is the sky beam barrage. So if I do this, it basically like launches like meteor, kind of like light meteor strikes down on them. So you can pretty much non-stop like kill enemies with this thing. So you're constantly having something you can do. So again, flight is so helpful too. So yeah, there's a reason why most people say use light, because it's pretty good. Plus you get the sword, man. You get so much with light. You get mobility, you get melee. Dude, it's good. All right, next up is love. Now this one's pretty interesting. You know, I want to make fun of this one because it's a bunch of hearts inside of like a battle game. Honestly, it's not too bad. So I'm going to show you these abilities. So you got mellowing heart, which is Z. This has pretty good range. Does like only 27 damage. I like that it kind of sounds like a video game too. It's pretty funny. Here's arrows of imprisonment. It's like pretty rapid attack. Let me go ahead and finish him real quick. But yeah, most of these have like pretty decent damage. Here's mellowing heart. Good range too. It's only 1700 damage on that one. Here's arrows of imprisonment. That one does a lot of damage. And then we got irresistible attraction. And that kind of stuns them for a second. So right here is scented kicks. And that's pretty crazy. That does like a really nice like combo attack. So you can pretty much run these. And man, like 3600 is not bad. Not a bad fruit, but not great either. You don't have any mobility with it. There's nothing like overpowered about it. It's kind of just like a mid-tier fruit in my opinion. Next up we have rubber, and this one's not very good. All right, so here's cannon. You're basically going to do like outstretched arms like that. And it does 2900 damage. That's not too shabby. And then you got smash, which is this. And you kind of just launch them up in the air. It's 3,500 damage. Pretty good. My problem with this one is not so much the damage, it's the kind of feel of everything. Feels really weird. Here's rush. I do like rush. I will tell you, I do like rush a lot. It's mastery 125, but it has really, really good attack. And we also have transformation. I'm going to show you in a second. And then you have slingshot. This is slingshot here. And you kind of launch toward them and hit them. It's kind of weird. But here's transformation. Go. So now I'm transformed. And so you can actually like hit them with like a melee attack. That's pretty OP. 2,300 per hit. So you can see I'm just kind of using this. It's pretty rapid. So you can just keep spamming that. Again, I like rush a lot. And as transformed, it should do a lot more damage. Dude. It just feels really, really weird. Now, next up is barrier. This one's kind of interesting because it uses like actual objects or structures to damage enemies. So and it's kind of fun to use. So the first one's going to be barrier wall. It smashes a wall right into them. You see, it just kind of pushes them back, and then it makes it so they can't get through it. Here's surprise attack. So here's surprise attack again. And it kind of leaps you toward them, and then explodes. Now here's barrier prison. Basically puts them in a ball for a moment. This one has to be one of my favorites, okay? This one is crazy. This one is barrier towers. I gotta get back a little bit, but there we go. Boom, dude. Look at that. That is so cool. It does so much damage. You're basically just like dropping like an entire building on them. Kind of feels like a little bit like a Doctor Strange moment right there. This is pretty cool too. Like if you're trying to, like from a mobility standpoint, or if you're trying to get up somewhere and you just need a little bit more higher. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool. So like if you want to like get up somewhere, it's really fast cooldown too. Now it's based, this one's based on what your body direction is. It's not based on where your mouse is. Unlike most things, if you're running in first person, it's probably better. It's kind of weird though, right? I also don't like that it starts kind of under you. I don't really know why it does that. All right, next up is magma. This one's pretty crazy. So you got magma clap, you got eruption, you got fist, meteors, and magma floor. Now, awakening this fruit is going to be way better, but it's already really good as just like non-awakened as well. Clap is kind of like a close range one. You have to kind of do that. And then you clap them with lava. You got like these lava gloves. So because you're kind of close, you know, it's kind of too close. I like magma eruption. This one's pretty cool. So you can pretty much blow them up. The other thing that I like about it is they take damage while they're on top of the magma, kind of like Venom. So they do take damage over time while they're moving over it. You also have magma fist, which is pretty cool. Hold down, charge up, boom. And I like that it just keeps doing more damage to them while they're in there. And we got the magma meteors. This one's pretty cool. So here's magma meteors. But this has got to be like the best part of this fruit, in my opinion, is magma floor. So check this out. It's the mobility one. and pretty much goes on almost forever. Now, you can take damage while you're in this state, but like, look at this. You're giving damage as well, so it's kind of fair, but you could travel with this, which is really cool. Yeah, magma's really cool, especially if you awaken it. Now, door is amazing. Pretty much I play the game in the door. Like, I use door all the time for questing. That's pretty much, this is my go-to, because with the way I'm playing right now, because I'm like doing all these different quests, I've been pretty much relying on my Cursed Dual Katana for damage, and that way I can get around with door, because door is like, dude, this is like one of the most helpful Blox fruits, in my opinion, in the game, because there's so much travel in Blox fruits. So of course they do have spinning door. Like, if you want to damage, could use some abilities here. You got like spinning door like this, and it does do some damage, which is kind of eh. They also have a dimension door, which is kind of cool. So you can see you can go through here. And then you got this, and some people can go through it. In the case of damage, you got to kind of get the enemy to, they kind of have to go through it to get damaged. And then we have hallway. I don't really get the point of hallway, to be honest. It's kind of weird. You see it does this. It's mainly, I think, for damaging enemies. And then finally, we have door gateway, which is really the only real purpose that I use this fruit for. But you can use like little portals to help your friends. Door gateway is the, everything about this fruit. Like, it's the key for everything. So basically hit C to open a gateway, and you could pretty much go to any of these like main spawn points in the map. And this also works in all the different like C's. So like if you're in like C2, you're gonna see all the different docks you can go to. It's just super helpful, especially when you're grinding bosses and trying to cycle through the map. The cooldown's not too bad. It's not like you're waiting another minute or two. Like in this case, like fruit detected, you can see I've got a fruit detected. It's 1,000 away. So let's go and see if it's like maybe near the great tree. So we're 1,600 now. I think it's on Turtle Island. So let's try that. So let's go to Turtle Island. We'll go to the turtle entrance. Yeah, it's here. So this is a great way for hunting down fruits as well. All right, what do we get? We got flame fruit. All right, next up is Quake. So we're going to start out with the punch. 2,800 damage. Pretty good. Not bad. And then you got Quake Wave. Dude, did you see how far it pushed him? Pretty good damage, 2,800. That does a nice knockback to him. Plus, it just looks cool and it feels cool. And then you got Quake Erupt, which is this one. Oh, he kind of interrupted it, though. I don't really like that taking damage can interrupt it so much. That is kind of unfortunate. Big Tsunami, dude. Does so much damage. Hits them twice. Yikes. So it's a pretty good one. I would say Awakened, it's way better, but I really like this one in general. It feels good. All right, next up, we're going to show you Buddha. This one is crazy. You're going to see a lot of people like prefer Buddha as like kind of like if you're trying to like get to max level for the first time. This one's really, really good. So you do want to transform and you're going to look like this guy. And the cool thing about transforming and being like this is your attacks are so much like greater in range. So you'll see like right here, I'm going to be able to hit this guy like without him ever getting close to my body. Look at this range. This is why Buddha is so great. Like the range for your melee attacks. Look at that. So you can pretty much stay away from them the entire time. Look how far I'm away from them and I'm still damaging them. You'll see as I get a little closer, watch. Boom. Like I'm not even near them. And that's why everyone loves Buddha. I'm telling you. It's just such a good like grinding type, fruit. And I avoided it at all costs for so long because I thought it looked kind of lame compared to some of the other fruits. Some of the other fruits like Venom and Leopard were cooler in my opinion. But this thing has got a really, like a lot of people, it's just basically easy mode, okay? It's like you basically put on the training wheels and made grinding so much easier. You can pretty much you never take any damage. Like if you don't want to take damage in this game, you're tired of dying, you keep dying. This is it. You feel like you're immortal with this one because no one can really kill you. If you really choose to use Buddha's abilities directly instead of using melee like you should, this is what they look like. So obviously you have transform. So that's important to be able to even use these. So you got to transform, you'll turn into this big guy. And then you don't really use these like I said, but if you really want to, if you don't want to use like electric claw or something like, I've got human here. But if you don't want to use those abilities, you could do this. You can see you got impact here, which is kind of lame. Like it's basically just a big bomb that blows up. You also have Buddha Leap, which will jump to wherever, you have your mouse pointer at. It's kind of lame. I don't really like these abilities. They don't do a whole lot of damage. And then you got Buddha Explosion, which is like more dramatic than it needs to be. It's super dramatic. Watch. There we go. Look at that. Giant nuclear explosion for 3,900 damage. So again, just use God Human. This is so much better. Look at this. I can fry these guys so fast. Look at the damage. I could just use God Human all day long. So it's just going to be so much faster to kill these guys. Like I just wipe through these guys so fast. This is where the fruit is really powerful, is you use that melee with it. Oh man, it's so good. Look at that. Done. So you can get through like a lot of XP this way. You can level so much faster with this one because you're never taking damage. Next up we have String. This one's kind of weird. So String Path is kind of cool. So this kind of like moves you. It's kind of like you're using webs to pull yourself. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It just doesn't feel that much faster. So I don't really like that. And then you got rainbow string, which is kind of weak. It's kind of close range too. So you see it's 2,300 damage. It's pretty bad. You have a multi-string attack, which looks like this. Basically like just like a swirl. Only 2,400 damage. You have overheated sniper, which is decent. That's decent. 3,700 damage. That's decent. And then you have ultimate thread, which looks like this. And that one does pretty decent damage too. So between overheated sniper and ultimate thread, you're going to be doing some decent damage. But again, this overheated sniper and the ultimate thread are really the winners for this one. I do like that the overheated sniper launches them so far. Beyond that, like this is just weird. This feels slower than like just doing this. I don't know. Next up, we got Bird Phoenix. This one's pretty cool. And just as a note, you can awaken String, and you can also awaken Phoenix. So you could go full transformation, and now you actually turn into a bird, and you don't have to like hold down anything. This is like probably the only fruit that has like a true flying bird, like the ability to stop and move. You can just hover here. So it's a really good, like a cool travel like fruit if you ever needed it. I don't see many purposes for this, but you might see something other than just being cool. You also have hybrid flight, which is kind of cool, but it's basically your avatar mixed with like a half bird. So it's kind of going to be like if you let go, you're going to like fall. So it's not like a full like flight mode. It's basically partial mode. I don't know why they did this, but I guess they just wanted to make it so if you wanted another option, you could. It's kind of weird. And then you do have cannon and regeneration flames and fast kick, but this is the cannon here. That's pretty cool, like flying around and just like killing stuff. That's pretty neat. So here's fast kick again. And it does decent. It's 2,700 damage. Now, if you take damage, you can also regenerate and heal yourself. So let me show you that real quick. So you can see I'll just let myself get attacked a bit. And then I can go over here and do regeneration flames, and it heals me. At the cost of energy, obviously. So you can see I can drain my energy all the way if I wanted to. But not many attacks. There's only 2 attacks. I do like the fact that you can heal yourself that way, though. It's cool. Next up, we got Rumble. So you got Rumble Dragon, which is the first one here. See, it does 2,300 damage. It's not crazy. Then you have Sky Thunder. You have Sky Beam. And then you got Thunder Bomb, which just fries them, dude. And then you got Lightning Dash. I wouldn't call this a top 5 fruit for me, but it's definitely like a top 10. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Paw, and this one's kind of weird. So first you got Heavy Paw, right? Looks like this, a big paw that goes across. It's only 2,500 damage. Pretty fast, good range. Here's Heavy Paw one more time. Hits them. It's pretty far range, too. It's pretty good range. And then we have Paw Barrage. So this is what Paw Barrage is like. Hits them pretty well. Like, look at the damage on that. 4,400 damage. And that's compared to the Heavy Paw, which is 2,500 damage. But watch the Barrage again. Look at that. And then you have the Nuke. This one's pretty crazy. Here's the Paw Nuke. Boom. 3,200 damage. Now, the range on that thing is massive. So, like, if you have a bunch of, like, enemies nearby, pretty awesome. But the best has to be Torture. Watch this. Boom. And it does, like, damage over time. Look at that. It's still damaging them. Look at that. Oh, man. It almost did 4,900 damage on that. We also have Self-Repel, which is F. Kind of does like a little dash. It's an interesting one. I like it, but is it my favorite? Nowhere near my favorite. Next, we have Gravity, and this is an interesting one for sure. So here is Gravity Push. So the first attack does 2,300 damage, pushes them away. So then you could go and hit Gravity Obeisance. Okay. But it's pretty cool. It kind of freezes them. Check that out. I really like this ability. Look at the damage on that, 8,200. So each one got about 4,100 damage each. That's a really good move, in my opinion. I also like the Meteor Pitch. Here we go. Look at the damage on that, 3,000 each. Meteor Rain's awesome too. Check this one out. Boom. Again, like, definitely a really, really good damaging one. I like this one a lot. You also have Boulder Flight, which I'm not going to show you yet because it's obvious. Look at that. So when I was grinding this one, I have to say I had the most fun with this one because it was so easy to level up the mastery on. Like, despite the fact that it's mastery 300 for its like the final ability here, it didn't take that long to master this one. Finally, the Boulder Flight's pretty nice. Obviously, you got your typical flight ability. It's not fast. It's not quite as fast as Light. It is another like mobility move, which is kind of nice. You're just gonna get chased down really easy. If you're not PvPing yet and you're just kind of like on your own server grinding or something, this one's pretty good. Now, Doe is a controversial one for me because a couple of things I don't don't like about it. One is Unawakened or non-awakened dough, not so good, okay? Like, I have to say I don't like it, but I started awakening a couple moves. That's a lot of damage. The reason why I don't like this one is everyone complains if you awaken this fruit. I kind of think it's like a waste to really invest in time in. If everyone's going to complain that you have dough, you're going to get like bullied quite a bit, okay? You're going to get a lot of toxics with you, especially if you kill them with it. But I'll show you the abilities here. I just don't really like them. So this is like fried dough, and you shoot them. It's only like not even 3,000 damage. That's kind of weak. I do like sticky dough a lot. Sticky dough is hilarious. Watch this. So you basically rope them, and then you spin them around, and it does like pretty good damage. It's 3,500 damage. Still, there's better abilities, okay? So I'm still not impressed yet. Still a bit better abilities out there. Here's carved dough, and that did 3,800 damage. Not bad. And then we got restless dough barrage, which looks like this. It's pretty good. Like, look at the damage on that. It's almost 6,000 damage. And then, of course, we have the roller donut, which looks like that. Now, the awakened versions of these are insane. But, like, I don't like the mobility of this. Like, trying to roll up hills can be a little buggy at times. Like, if you want to, like, go up, like, up here, you can't exactly go up it. There's just some weird aspects of this that I wasn't really a big fan of. All right, so, like, the only thing I really like about this is sticky dough. Now, I don't think anyone's going to care if you awaken your dough and you're just playing against PvE, like if you're just going and like grinding mobs and quests. But if you're going to go and bring it into PvP, they're going to get really angry and salty with you. So just be careful. Just a note about dough. Next, one of my favorites definitely is Shadow. Shadow is a ton of fun. We have Somber Rebellion, which is this. So you can see I'm like kind of storing it up. And then launching it at him, it does 3,100 damage. What I like about it is it kind of pushes you away into safety as well. So after your move, check this out. So after your move, you get launched away from them. So you can kind of like either run away or you can go in for another attack. So check this out. Booyah. And then I'm out. Laters. So it's a nice like dive in and attack and run away. And they don't really know where you went because they just got attacked. You might have, they don't know that you went straight up. Unless, of course, someone knows how Shadow works. Now, next you have Shade Nest, which is a level 100 mastery. You can see it's 4,000 damage, dude. So that's 4,000, right? Look at this one again. Somber Rebellion, 3,100 damage. So it's already impressive. Two really heavy, nice damaging attacks. You got Nightmare Leech, which is a mastery 200. You basically just like yeeted them away from you, but you took them and yeeted them. So imagine if you're like able to combo off this, and there are combos. And I'll maybe work on a video on comboing certain like fruits later. And then we got Corvus Torment right here, which is the level 300 mastery. This is what it looks like. And you can see, look at the damage on this, dude. Look at the massive damage. That's so much damage. Look at it. It's still damaging them. It's still damaging them. That was so much damage. So, like, while that's going on, imagine you could be actually throwing some more abilities. Let me show you that again. So I do this Corvus Torment. Boom. Right? And now I can do Shade's Nest. Now I can throw in, like, Somber Rebellion. Now I can do Nightmare Leech. Like, this is ugly. Like, that is a really, really good combo fruit. And then, of course, you got mobility with this, so you can use the umbrage. But look at this. It's like bats. How cool is that, dude? If you saw that thing coming towards you, you'd be like, oh, what? No, I'm out. So yeah, it's a really, really good fruit. Definitely my top 5. All right, next we have Venom. This was one of my favorites. I started this one. This is like my first fruit I ever used. And so I really like this one. First up, you can transform. I'll show that in a minute. But let me show you Poison Dagger. So you can pretty much combo this one. So you see they're going to take damage. As long as they step on the puddles, they're going to be taking damage. So you can pretty much run them around in circles on this puddle that you just created. And you can do it over and over and over and over. So you only need this ability really just like to throw massive damage at enemies. Look at that, 4,000. We're going to hit 5,000. 53, like 6,000. That's 6,200 on one attack. Just Poison Daggers. Not comboing. That's just one attack. There we go again. Just let them run over it. So you can pretty much just run them in circles. Definitely a high damage one. Also really good for PvP in my opinion. And then now we're going to do Nauseous Shot. Boom. Bigger puddle. Like massive damage here. Now we're going to do Toxic Fog. We're just going to run them around with Toxic Fog going. And then we can also do Serpent's Wrath, which is basically a damaging mobility one. So you can run around like this. And this is like basically like light, just slower. We can damage and go in circles on this guy. And then of course you can transform. If this isn't good enough for you, now you can transform. Check this out. Crazy, right? So you can transform. And the thing with this one is your damage is going to do so much more. So you're going to do a lot more damage. And when you do Toxic Fog, look at Toxic Fog. This is crazy. Like Toxic Fog is going to do so much more. Here's Serpent's Wrath. So your Serpent's Wrath is huge. Do explosion there. But ultimately, your Toxic Fog is going to be insane. Check this out. Look at this damage, too. Just ticks and ticks and ticks. You're pretty much guaranteed to kill. You're pretty much going to kill anything near you. And then, of course, you have to have max fury to transform, something I should have mentioned. So Venom has a lot of different like advantages and purposes. I really like it. Lots of options with it. You're going to do lots of damage. Next up, we have control. This one's a weird one, okay? Like a lot of people like control. That's a weird one, man. So you have to set up a control area. So like out here, I'm going to set up a control area, and I'm still learning this one. But you can see like you create this control area, and by doing that, we can do a lot of different moves. So we could do levitate, which is going to give us like this giant rock that's hovering. I'm levitating that, and then I'm going to throw it at this guy. 3,800 damage. Now it seems really good because the cooldown is pretty nice, right? Like you keep throwing these at them, but after a while, it's kind of annoying. I don't really like it because it just feels, it's a feel thing for me. Like it's pretty powerful, but it just feels lame. I don't know. It's all right. Like it's really good damage, but it's all right. Again, it's just mainly a preference thing for me. I don't really want to play with it, but it is powerful. I'm not denying that. Next up, we got Echo Knife, which looks like this. Pretty good. Does a lot of damage too. And Gamma Rush is pretty cool. Let me show you that. Boom. Look at that. It does like this whole camera thing. Look at this. It basically blew up the entire like dome. It basically blew up the entire dome. It's pretty insane. Of course, you can teleport as well, which is kind of cool. Teleport around the map. So like if you're trying to avoid people while you're trying to wait for Gamma Rush to come back. And we just lost our control area, so let's bring that back out. And then here's Gamma Rush once again. Here we go. Look at this damage, dude. Boom. Visually, it's stunning. Visually, it's unreal. You know, and you can like continue comboing off stuff here. You can throw levitate on them. But yeah, it's a really good fruit, to be honest. Like I said, it's all about the feel for me. It doesn't feel right to me. That's why I didn't really like Magma as well early on. Next, you have Soul, which is a really quirky and wonky one. We're almost to our end here. This one's pretty crazy, dude. It's very creative, very artsy. Visually, it's really fun. But you have Soul Snatcher here, so I'll show you that. So you can see, like, first thing you're going to notice is you have, like, this fire or light, and then you got darkness, like a storm. And you can throw that, and you're going to notice this guy gets a lot of damage. Granted, it's both of them. I think it was like over 4,000 damage. The other thing you're going to notice is I have 5 souls here. So I'm going to show that again. Boom. So they took 41 damage each, 4,100 damage each. Now I have 7 souls. I'm going to explain that in a second. We also have Wrath of Ra. So here's X. That's Wrath of Ra. Pretty crazy. Start him on fire as well. So you can see he's lit on fire. He's taking damage still. And then we have Outraged Rajin, which is pretty crazy. There's that one. 6,300 damage. And then we have End of Times. Let me show you End of Times. This one's nuts. Boom. Look at that. It's only 5,600 damage, though. Compared to Control, kind of weak. And then, of course, you have Sky Ruler, which you can kind of fly around on. It's kind of cool. It's another mobility one. But I'm going to show you something else really cool. So you have 8 souls now. Now, you'll notice I can kind of deploy these, and they're going to actually attack my enemies. So I can toss these out here, and they're going to keep attacking my enemies. Now, some of them are going to heal me as well. So like you'll notice I'll take some damage, but I'm also getting healed. So it depends on what I deploy. Some of them will attack my enemies. Some will gas them. Some are going to heal me. Like, it just depends. And you see I have 2 more souls left, so I can launch these at enemies. So I can click near this guy, and you can see that's going to launch at him. And it's going to basically emit a gas. So you can see it's damaging him based on the gas. So little pink flowers emit gas. Then this guy is going to heal me. So like while he's gassing this guy, I'm going to get healed. Just a really interesting fruit. I think it's probably one of the most creative ones. Really like it. I feel like it just has like just fun all over it. All right, next up we're going to show Dragon. Let me show you Heat Wave Beam. I like this one a lot. Basically charging up. We're going to let go. 3,100 damage. He kind of just got kicked back to me. Pretty good. Here's a Dragon Claw. Definitely, I like that it burns him for quite a while. It's like 4,600 damage. It's really good. You've got Fire Shower, which is pretty cool. Really like this one. Feel like that one's really, really powerful. And then obviously you have Dragon Flight. So this is like the kind of like the hybrid wings one. And then obviously once you transform into the dragon, you'll have your separate flight for that. But this one's pretty cool. Like, it's really fast too. Look how fast we fly. It's not bad. Oh, and here's the transform. So I just transformed into the dragon. It's pretty crazy to see it. Like when you see this thing flying around, you're just totally intimidated. So now I'm gonna show you some of the abilities. So here's Fire Shower. I mean, it's a massive explosion. Pretty amazing, to be honest. You got Dragon Claw, which is a lot more damage in general. It's just a lot more damage. Same move. You got Dragon Beam. It's pretty good. I like the fire shower though. Check that out. Like just completely obliterate an area. 16,000 damage. But now I'm going to show you leopard. Leopard's just really crazy. And the reason why I like leopard is I could tell how fast I was leveling, okay? Based on how fast I'm leveling, really tells me how good a fruit is. So we do have body flicker, which looks like this. It's kind of weird. But we do have finger revolver, which is pretty powerful. Show you finger revolver. 40, almost 4,500 damage. And it wasn't like a full execution on that. Let me show that again. Get up closer. There we go. 40, like almost 4,600 damage on that. Pretty nuts. And then here's a spiral kick. Did 3,300 damage for spiraling kick. Aftermath assault. About 3,900. And you can combo with these. Here's transformation. Now I look like a leopard with the DV eyes. That's cool. There's revolver. A lot more damage. But like from a grinding standpoint, this thing was like really good. Like leopard was just really easy for me to get to like level 300. Anyway, I hope this video was useful to you. Let me know what your favorite fruit is. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video where I hopefully will show you all the different awakened fruits. It's going to take a little while, but I'll get there. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.